Hey everybody, happy Friday. Hope you are all having a fabulous day. Um, I lost my voice a little bit, so I apologize. I'm having some crazy allergies. For those of you that are in San Diego, you know that the weather has been a little hot in Santa Ana and windy, so my allergies are definitely acting up. But I am excited, I guess is the good word to use, to chat with you about this study in regards to baby food. So if you are here watching either live or catching the replay, please say hi and please ask any questions that you have that come up. I am going to be talking about this study a little bit and sharing some what I believe to be relatively doable recommendations. I know that sometimes nutrition news in the media can really be sensationalized, so I always feel that it's so important to really look into what is what's real, what's happening. So most of you have probably seen this study. It has been in the news for about a week and a half. I know that Kara had originally brought it to my attention and had asked some questions about it. And if you look now online and look for articles, you'll find a ton of information. So this was put out by a group called Healthy Babies, Bright Futures. They are a nonprofit coalition of several different people that have come together to create this coalition. And they've been around for quite some time. From my research, they've been putting out reports similar to these, reports about safety in baby and toddler and child products for quite some time. And they actually have some really great recommendations on their website. So I'm going to link to that. But what they did is they tested 168 baby food type products. So this included different types of cereals. This included fruit juices. It included baby foods, so purees. And they tested these for heavy metal contents. And what they found is that 95% of these products that they tested came back positive for one or more of the following different types of heavy metals. So lead, arsenic, mercury, or cadmium. And if you actually look at the whole report, you will see the list of the products tested and how much was found in these baby food products. Now, right now, the FDA does not have a set limit for these heavy metals in baby foods. A few years ago, it was proposed to create some sort of law or regulation surrounding this, but it has not been created. So these levels that are listed of these heavy metals, they're listed in parts per billion, and some are lower, some are higher. So it is still a relatively small amount, but there are no set safety standards that exist. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to just give you an example. So water, drinking water, does have a limit of 10 parts per billion arsenic to be allowed in the water. And this study found that many of these products had much higher than 10 parts per billion, although it is still parts per billion. Okay, so that's kind of the first piece of it. So just to tell you, with these products, so 94% tested positive for lead, 95% for cadmium, 73% for arsenic, and 32% tested positive for mercury. And why this is a concern is because these heavy metals in larger amounts can affect babies' development. So the amounts are, again, very small, and these heavy metals exist in the air, in our drinking water, in lots of different things. But it is concerning that there is a lot of this that was found, and that these amounts are prevalent. One of the biggest culprits for this is rice. So we have known for a while that arsenic can be present in, I'm not going to say high amounts, but in higher amounts than we might want. Again, there's no standard for how much is allowed, but in amounts that we can detect. And several years ago, when when these studies were coming out, a lot of baby food manufacturers started making cereals that weren't rice-based, so oat-based or quinoa-based or other cereal-based besides rice. And the reason that arsenic is so present in rice is because, well, let me back up a little bit. When we talk about these heavy metals being present, we're not talking about that these metals are being added to the food. We're talking about they're naturally occurring in the soil. And the products, the foods where these metals are found, so mostly rice, and then two other big ones were sweet potatoes and carrots, are fruits or grains or veggies that are grown in the ground. So because they're grown in the ground, it's more likely that these heavy metals are going to permeate into those products. And with rice, rice is grown in water in the ground. So that water makes it very likely that some of these heavy metals are going to permeate into the rice. So that's why the arsenic content is going to be higher in the rice. And it's interesting that brown rice actually has a higher arsenic content than white rice because it's not hulled or stripped. It's so it's, you know, it's confusing. With, I feel like a lot of nutrition can be confusing because we know that brown rice is better because it has more fiber and all these other things. So rice, and then there was actually a good amount, or not a good amount, but there was levels of these heavy metals found in fruit juices. So that's another kind of concerning thing. And then the baby food products, again, sweet potato and carrots were big ones that these heavy metals were found in. So what do we do about this? What's the recommendation? We are never going to be able to completely eliminate these heavy metals. And again, there's no set limits, although we don't want to have a lot of these in our products. So the things that we can do, the number one recommendation is to try to decrease the amount of rice-based products that you're providing to your child. So puffs, like rice puffs or teething biscuits, those are typically made from rice. So what I would recommend, and what they recommend also, is to try to decrease what you're providing. So that might be finding an alternate type of puff, or even making your own. A lot of you in this group have taken my course on introducing solids, and one of the things that I recommend is providing whole foods when you can. A baby-led weaning approach where you're giving your child whole fruits from the start is a great way, because you're not necessarily giving your child some of these products, maybe teething biscuits. Maybe you'll provide something else for them to teeth on. One thing I really like is taking a mango pit and freezing it so your baby can kind of suck on that. So just thinking outside of the box of different things that you can provide that aren't rice-based. The other thing that you can do to decrease the amount of arsenic in regards to rice is to provide if you are providing rice cereal, to provide other types of cereals. So that might be an oatmeal cereal or a multigrain cereal. If you go to the grocery store or Target or wherever you go, there is a huge variety of different types of cereals at this point. And you don't even have to provide your child with cereals. However you decide to start solids, or at whatever stage you're at, you can choose to provide a wide variety of to choose to provide a wide variety of different types of foods. So decreasing the rice snacks, decreasing the rice cereal. That's some of my notes. Talked a little bit about teething. The other thing is that some of these heavy metals are present in juice, which is kind of interesting because it was found in apple, pear, grape juice, and other fruit juices. And there was also a report, I believe, put out by Healthy Babies, or it was a Consumer Reports study, can't remember exactly, but that found that a while ago, that found that some of these juices had these higher levels of lead and arsenic. And it's concerning that it's still there. We do know that juice is not going to be the best choice for our children, so it's kind of like another reason to decrease the amount of juice that you're providing your child. Again, you're not going to eliminate it, but just decreasing it can help to decrease that amount. So providing them with water or milk or another beverage of choice. So that would be what I would recommend. And then in regards to the carrots and sweet potatoes, so a lot of baby foods have, for example, sweet potato added to help sweeten them up. So if you look at maybe certain pouches or certain jars of baby food and their blends of baby food, even if they're vegetable based, sometimes they have a lot of sweet potato in them or carrot in them because food manufacturers are trying to make them a little bit sweeter. So what I would recommend there is, if you can, make your own. If you can, provide whole foods. And if not, just look at those products that you're purchasing, and you don't necessarily need to take out sweet potato and carrots because these are two foods that are really good for us, but you just want to decrease the amount to try to decrease that heavy metal exposure. So I hope that this is making sense so far, but it's really, when I look at this report and when I look at the recommendations, it's really about it's about providing a variety. So providing your child with a variety of fruits and vegetables is what's going to be best, and that's kind of what we've been advocating for a while. The other thing that I wanted to talk about briefly with this is that the products that were tested were baby food products. It wasn't like they took carrots or sweet potato and actually tested those products. However, because the carrot and the sweet potato were found to be higher in the heavy metals, most likely a carrot or sweet potato would be as well. So I was asked the question, well, how about rinsing a sweet potato and a carrot? And from my research, I do believe you will probably take out a good majority by rinsing it. I know there's been some information about rinsing rice and decreasing the arsenic content in rice. Excuse me real quick. But rinsing can definitely help, or like scrubbing with a scrub brush for some of these products that were grown underground. So those are some of the things to kind of think about, because on the skin or on the outside of the product, that's probably where those heavy metals are going to be more present. So I think that was pretty much it. Hopefully I covered everything that you had questions on. If anybody has questions, let me know. I'm not seeing any comments, so I'm assuming that that this is making sense. I will link to the full report. Again, it's a long report, but what you can do is, if you're interested in specific products and seeing their heavy metal content, in the back, in one of the appendix sections in the full report, you can see all of the products that were tested and the heavy metals that were found in all of those. So decrease fruit juice, provide a variety, try to decrease the amount of rice-based products you're providing, and you're going to be good. You know, we live in a society where these things are present. They're present naturally in the soil, so it's not that these heavy metals are being added, and we're not seeing crazy effects of these as well. So hopefully those recommendations are helpful, and you can take some of those, and it should be hopefully easy swaps as well to make. If you have any questions or you're just starting solids with your baby, I do have an online course that's all about introducing solids, and we go from about 6 months when you're starting solids through a year of age, and there's lots of recommendations in there, lots of feeding advice where I'm providing different recipes and different ideas so that you are kind of staying away from some of like the rice cereal and other things as well. So that's all for today. Happy Friday. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will touch base next week. Bye.